Let's talk about Automation Studio. It's pretty cool. So I have a circuit here that I'm going to drop into Automation Studio, and I'm going to draw it. So it's a pretty basic ladder logic diagram. We're going to be using JIC, Joint International Committee symbols for all of our symbols and our ladder logic. So I think what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to pull the circuit up. But maybe I'll turn the Almond Brothers off. It's difficult. But for you, I'll do that. Anyway, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I have this drawing. Actually, I'm going to bring it over here. I have this drawing, and yeah, if you can tease me, go ahead. Did I draw this in paint? Yeah, go ahead. So I'm an instructor, right? So I use this for instruction. It's great. So let's move on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to put this right into my drawing. So stop that. I'm just going to dump this in here. I'm just going to go control paste. This is great. By the way, welcome to Automation Studio if you don't know it. And it's a huge file, so it's taking a while. So I can just drop any image in here. I mean, you could drop a picture in here. You could drop any image. You could just drop it in there, circuit, whatever. So I'm putting this here so that I have reference to it so that I can use it to draw my ladder logic. So good, I'll just sneak it over here. I'll put it over here. And then I'm going to use that. So let's go ahead and try and build this circuit together. So if you want, you can open your Automation Studio up as well. And by the way, if you're wondering how do I get access to Automation Studio, if you're one of my students at Humber College, you will have access to it. If you're not at Humber College, then you have to get access to it from whatever institution you're with or business you're with or wherever, or get in touch with FAMIC in Montreal and go talk to the boys over there. So ask for George. So, a great guy. So let's move on here. I'm just going to jump into what we call Joint International Committee standards, and those are for all of the symbols for ladder logic. So we're going to start to use these things. First thing I need is 24-volt rails on either side. So I'm going to go for a 24 and a 0. I can adjust these a little bit later. Actually, I think I have to move that up a little bit. By the way, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hit the control, and I'm just going to scroll my mouse. There you go. Yeah, I need to move that up. So let's just start building this thing over here, and then we'll be able to simulate it. By the way, let me tell you about this circuit. This circuit's pretty cool. It's a memory latch. It's application of a memory latch. So what I can do is I can press the start button and turn on the light, and then I press the start button again, and the light turns off. It's so cool. I mean, that really is cool. I mean, obviously you need a holding circuit to do that because it's a normally open push button. You press it down, you release it. So when you press it and you release it, the holding circuit keeps the light on. It's great. But how do we use that same button to turn the light off? Well, you use a memory latch or a counter. It's actually counting one full event. So what you're doing is you're counting the event of someone pressing the button and then releasing the button. Now that event's done. When that event is done, a done bit comes on. And we can see that here. So I'll just zoom in here. I'll explain this circuit to you, and then I'll show you how to draw it. So what's going on here is that I press this button, I got my holding circuit turning my light on, and I'm using this in two different places, and that's why I have it kind of hooked up to a relay. So I can use this in more than one rung. So I'm amplifying or multiplying the signal from this, and I'm using it in more than one rung. So here, I press the button, this closes, and I'm latching onto it with a memory latch, and the light comes on, it stays on. Now, this is the cool part. What's going to happen is when I release it, this will become closed. And this will energize, which is the done bit. So when the event is done, complete, right? You press the button, released it, the event's done. That event is not there anymore. But we've just counted it that it came and went. So the done bit saying, hey, this event happened and it's not happening anymore. So I can be sure of that. And the way we do that is essentially I have this guy closing because of my memory latch. Now when I release it, this becomes closed and this energizes. So if you think about this, I always take a look at my ladder logic, and that when I design it, I don't look at anything. So I don't touch anything. So I don't touch anything, don't touch anything. What's it doing? So I look at this and I say, well, this is going to be open because I haven't pressed the button yet. I haven't pressed that button. That's going to be open. That's going to be closed, but the done bit's not going to be on because I haven't pressed this. As soon as I press this, this actually this closes, but this opens. So this done bit's not going to happen. Now, when I release it, this stays latched. It stays closed because it's part of the memory circuit, right? So if I let go of the button, that becomes closed, and bam, my done bit comes on. Now watch this. This is cool. This rung here shows my done bit. Now, again, I told you that I'm putting this start button on a relay so I can have the information here. I can also have the information here, and I can put the information here. So what's going on is when I release the button, this becomes energized, that becomes closed. Now, when I press the button again, so the logic is, if I press the button, and then I release the button, and then I press the button, then R4 comes on, which is the shutdown relay. And it actually just terminates everything because, hey, I got a holding circuit up here and I need a termination contact for my holding circuit, and that's what terminates it. So pretty cool, eh? Okay, let's build this. So yeah, press it on, press it off. Again, I'll just go over the logic of this kind of like, I call this was logic, but don't tell anyone. I actually have another video just on was logic, but again, like don't go around saying that it's like real. Because it's, you know, there's or logic, there's and logic and or logic, and then we get into like NORs and NOTs and all of these other things, but essentially everything's built off an and or an or. There's no such thing as a was. But I like to kind of use the term. So I'm going to use the terminology in my discussion of the logic here. Okay, good. The light will come on if I press the button. So if button, if start, then light. Okay? So I can say if start was and start, then no light. If was start, or if start was and start is, then no light. Does that make sense? So if I did press the start, if the button was pressed in the past and now it is pressed again, then turn the light off. There you go. That's the logic. So let's jump on this. I'm going to show you how to do this. So I got this, let's build this. So what I'm going to go over here is I'm going to go over to my JIC over here, and these are all of the symbols you need to draw ladder logic. So let's just jump into this. So I need some contacts here. So I'm going to go to a contact, and I need some switches. Pardon me, I need a switch. There's a normally open switch. Oh, good, because there's one right there. Let's grab it. Let's put it in here. I'm just going to dump it right there. Now it wants to know what it's called. I'm going to call it start stop, because it is starting and stopping. That's not how you spell stop. Okay, good. So now that's what that's called. Now the next thing I need over here is a relay. Okay, so let's go for output components. There's nothing there. You can search around and jump around on these things. You can also just jump on that, and a relay coil is going to be down here, or you can go for output components. And I said contacts. I'm not sure what I said earlier, but output components, and you can go a lot deeper. So you go. So I'm going to grab this. Oh, by the way, that's coil with off delay. Yeah, these are timed contacts, but I just want a normal, basic, everyday coil. Now I'm going to name this guy. When I put it up here, I'll say, hey, what's the name of this? I'm going to call it my R1. R1, perfect. Okay, good. So I'm going to pull that up a little bit. I'm going to pull this guy up. Now I can make this rung. The way I zoomed in, again, was I just held down the control button and I scrolled with my mouse. So I'm going to go from here to there, and I'm going to go from here to there, and this is my first rung. Done. Perfect. I could actually simulate this, but nothing would happen because I can actually move this over a little bit because there's no contacts associated with this R1 coil. So let's take a look at filling in the next rung. What I need is I need a holding circuit for my R4. It's going to be difficult for me, not a holding circuit, a contact. I need a contact for my R4. It's going to be difficult for me to program a contact for R4 because I don't have an R4 relay yet. So in Automation Studio, that's how it works. So what I'm going to do is, unless there's another way to do it, maybe let's actually try it. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to put a contact in. So I'm going to put a contact in, normally closed. Let me just see if I can name it because it wants me to associate it with a relay. So I can click on here. And now it's just a contact from relay 1. But I want it to be from relay 4, but I don't have a relay 4. I guess I can change it after. Okay, let's do that. Let's move on, and I'm going to put all of my outputs in first so that I can load my contacts to those outputs. Again, I'm going to need another coil, and I'm going to need that. It's going to be my R2. Okay, that's my R2. Good. And I need another coil as well, and that's going to be my R3. I need a light as well, my R3. And then I'm going to need another light over there, and another relay contact. Now I need a lamp. So indicator lamp, outputs, signal devices, indicator lamp. There we go. Now that goes above my, or below my R2. Right below my R2. There you go. So now I've got this guy, and that's lamp 1. Perfect. Yeah, I'm good. I just need another stop button, but I can put that in as I'm building. Let's go on. So I'm going to build my first rung. I'm going to take this guy, sneak it over here, and let's build this first rung. So I've got my normally closed contact. Let's associate that with R4 now. Actually, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go down here and double click on this. How do I do this? Create link, R4. Okay, there you go. That's what. That's how we do that. Okay, good. So let me put this up here on kind of the same rung, and what I'm going to do is I know that I need another contact, normally open from relay 1. So I'm just going to close this because I don't need my output components anymore. I'm going to do this guy, put that guy in there, and he is going to be associated with R1. So I'm going to go here and double click on that, and now it's just R1. Perfect. And I'm going to need another one down here from R2. So I'm going to grab another one and just dump this down here, and that's going to be associated with R2. See, this is pretty simple. I mean, it's a really great program. Now I click here, and then I click here, and then I've got that guy. I'm going to do this guy. I'm going to fill in this rung, and I'm going to go from here, and I click here, and I go up. Now I'm going to run this guy to there, and I'm going to run this guy to, did I just do that? Yeah, it was all right. So I run that there. I run that there, and now I've got this rung. Now, if I zoom in here, take a look at that. That's red. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to delete it. I thought there was something weird going on. I'm just going to zoom all the way out, and then I'm going to zoom in. I thought there was something weird when I was clicking on some stuff. It didn't feel right. There I go, fixed it. So Automation Studio will show you when things aren't going right. Okay, good. So let me just zoom out here so that we can see everything, and let's continue filling this in. So this guy is here. Oops, daisy. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna double click there, and it clicks. I'm gonna take this guy and double click him there. Now I like to make things really symmetrical, so I'm clicking on that, and I'm using the arrow keys. It's really nice. You can move things around with the arrow keys. So, and now that's like that. So let's continue on. So we've done this rung. It's perfect. Let's just do the next rung. Let's do this guy. Okay, so I need a normally open contact from relay 2. Okay, I'm going to dump that right here, and it's right beside my relay 3. So normally open contact, relay 2, perfect. Now I'm going to buzz that over to a normally closed contact. So I'm going to put this guy here, and that's going to be from my memory latch, which is my R2. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to put a latch around that. Oops, pardon me, that's going to be for my R1. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to choose R1, and then I'm going to right click it and say create link, and it will jump over to R1. So I can edit that. Okay, good. So I need another one here. That's my R3, and I go down here. That's my holding circuit, and that's going to be from my R3. So the first time you use this, you know, it's nothing's. I mean, I've been using this for years, so it's I'm doing this pretty quickly. But I'm sure there are many out there who can do this much more quicklier. I just hit Control Z because I just did something that I didn't like. I went over here and I dropped that there, and I don't know what happened. It didn't work. So I hit Control Z. It works. Oh, you double click. Perfect. I'm going to draw this guy up to here and this guy up to here. So yeah, what I'm saying is you'll get used to it. It's just a matter of practice. I'm going to bring that up maybe 1. That's my R4. And now I'm going to do this guy. I'm going to do this wrong. So I need a push button. So I'm going to go to switches. I need a normally closed push button. I'm going to put that there. And that's going to be my reset. I can't spell. My fingers. Okay, just, yeah. You can tease me as much as you want. My fingers just, I don't know how people type. I don't understand. Now, I mean, you know what? Let me just click on that. Let me show you. I can't grab onto this. I can't. Oh, I can actually. I can. Interesting. It's more difficult to grab onto it when it's selected. Like here, I have to be a little bit more accurate. But if it's not selected, it just automatically really grabs it really easily. But if I select it, it doesn't grab it. I have to be more accurate. I don't like accurate. My fingers don't like accurate. Okay, wait. I need to add a little bit more. You know what? This is really cool. I don't think I'll have, it'll be a little bit too crammed to put all of this in. So I'm going to show you how to expand this. But let's just try. Let's just try and stick this all in. I'm going to go back to my contacts. And I'm going to put this contact in here. And that's going to be from my done bits. R3. R3. Okay. So now I'm going to take this guy and put him here. Now I need another one from R1. I'm just going to drag that in here. I'm just going to put, I want my, okay. Sorry, I want this over here. I want more space here. Now I can put that right there and it'll just grab onto it. I can stick this right in here and it will grab onto it if I drop it there. But what I'm saying here is that this is a little squished. I mean, it's important to make your circuits look good. So I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to go a little further. Yeah, I've selected them. Watch this. With my arrow keys, I'm going to go over. So I'm just expanding things because I want a little bit more room here. And for me, I like the symmetry of things. So I'm just going to move this over by 1. And I'm going to move this over by 1. I'm just using those arrow keys. Whoop, I'm going to hit undo as opposed to going up. I'm going to hit that arrow key to this way, and this way. Nice. So I have some symmetry here. Actually, I'm not even, you know what? I'm going to do this and move it over here and move that over there. Now, this is starting to look a little bit like, I don't like this. I don't like how it's got these. Yeah, I guess it's okay. Yeah, that's a little better. I like that. I really like the symmetry. You know why the symmetry is important? Because someone else is going to be reading your work, and it'll help them. I'm just going to move this down. It'll help them, their eyes, to read your work. Now, I don't know why this. Okay, I want to take this. I want to move it up. Okay, there we go. So I'm kind of back to where I was, and I've got some extra space. I'm going to move this guy over here. Now I can draw this, and it won't look as crammed. Okay, good. So you know what? I'm actually going to take all of these just to get that little bit more space. Yep. And I'm going to hit this and that. And now I'm going to take this. I'm just moving this over to the left. There, that's better. Good. So when somebody looks at your work, you want them to feel the symmetry that you've designed. You want it to look good. You want to put some love in it so that people think, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Or this girl, pardon me. Yeah. This person, this human being is awesome. I want them on my team. Okay, good. So now I'm going to do this with I'm going to put that rung in. That's a really cool holding circuit there. It's actually holding 2 different pieces of information. So there you go. So I'm just going to drop this here, and that's going to be my R4. R4, and I'm going to close that up. Now, I got a couple options. One is I can come from here and go down to there and go down to there, or I can just come from here and go up to here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. Awesome. So now let's simulate this. Again, like I said, let's see if this first time you do stuff, if it works the first time, I'm always surprised. Okay, I'm going to press this, and the light should come on. Whee, the light came on. Now, watch what happened. I let go of it. Let's actually simulate that again. I'm going to press it, and I'm going to hold it. I'm going to press it, and if I move my my hand over to the right, and then I release the mouse, that will stay closed. Automation Studio is so cool. Will stay closed. So now what's going on is that's closed, that's closed. Now this is open, right? So it's active. It's a normally closed contact, and we can see that it is active. So therefore, it is in its active state. Therefore, it is open. So my R3 is not energized. But when I release this, what's going to happen is this will de-energize, but this will stay energized because I've got a holding circuit. This guy will stay closed because of the holding circuit. Now, this guy will become closed, and R3 will come on. Ready? Watch this. Bam! Isn't that nice? R3 energized. Now, this contact came on. So, the next time I press it, this will close, and this will energize. Ready? Here we go. Bam! That energized. It terminated the light. It also terminated this holding circuit, which shut everything down here. Although, look at this. Ooh, there's still a holding circuit active. That's right. That's why we put a reset in. Never build a holding circuit without some kind of termination contact. Hit reset. So one thing I want to show you here is this. I'm just going to say, watch R1 here, R1 here, and R1 there. When I press this, this will close, that will open, and this will close, but R4 won't become energized because that's not energized yet. Ready? Here we go. So I'm holding it down. That's closed. That's open because it's normally closed and it's become active, so it's open. And that guy is normally open and it's become active, so it's closed. Now, this shows that it's pink because there's current going through it, or power. We can imagine there's current going through it. So it's pink and it's solid. But this guy is solid, but he's black. which means that there's no logic getting to it, or there's no current getting to it. You can think of the logic moving down the rung or the current, however you want to look at it. When I release this, this will become open. Oh, sorry. When I release this, that becomes open, that becomes closed, and we can see now the next time I press it, that will close, and that's how everything resets. That's how it shuts the light off and terminates this memory latch and the done bit, but it doesn't reset everything until I do this. Again, always put a reset. You know what? I'm just thinking in my head, how do I do this automatically? I could actually put a timer on here that would wait for a second and reset it. There's another way to do it as well. There are probably 5 ways to do it, but that's one way. You can think of another way to do it yourself if you want. So I'm just going to reset, and there you go. I think now you know everything you need to know about using Automation Studio for this basic ladder logic circuit and to play with it. So yeah, have fun with that. Oh, you know what? I'm going to clean this up a little bit more. I was thinking about this. Just a little bit more symmetry here. I'm thinking maybe I'll just dial that in by 1. There you go. Now it's perfect.